over lighthouses, it's more like a 308-step program, seriously. You'll find yourself like dragging yourself to strange places all up and down the coast and inland to Great Lakes as well. And we are very fortunate here at Point Reyes. My name is Ranger Hawkins. I live out here. I have a lot in common with what these guys went through, but my life is nowhere nearly as arduous as what they had going. How many of you have ever fantasized about being a lighthouse keeper? Come on, I can feel the envy in the room for my view. All right. Well, it might make you feel a little better to know about 278 days out of the year I cannot see the water from here. About 130 days out of the year, the winds are 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. I have experienced them in excess of 100 out here. They've recorded them in excess of 133. So it's pretty brutal. Whatever's going on out here, I guarantee you, it's totally different in Bear Valley. You drive in there, it's beautiful, it's sunny. Every once in a while they drag me in so I don't suffer vitamin D deficiency. I was like, son! You know? For me, there's no internet, no television, and it's about 2 hours into the nearest store. So, but these guys have it way harder than I ever did. So, if you were to be a lighthouse keeper, your day would start at the top of the stairs, where that upper observation deck is, and that's where the original lighthouse keeper's house was. And the head keeper would call everybody together, they'd have breakfast, they'd figure out your big decision of the day. Are you going to be on lights or sound? Sound or lights? Life was a little simpler back then. All right, you probably arm wrestle your neighbor, and whoever lost, I guarantee you, you're on sound. Hi, if you guys can hold on. Thanks, right there. Yep, so you come down all 308 stairs just like you folks did? Not quite. For them, it was 615 open slat wood stairs to get to this level. And one of the first things you'd do when you got here is you'd wind her up. Because you can think of this as a big flashlight on top of a big clock. We're very lucky to have one that you can get this up close and personal with. Many of these have fallen into the sea, or the lens itself has been yanked out and put in a museum. This is one of the few that's still what we call in situ, in its original situation, where you can actually see the lens. So you'd wind it up, and as you wound it, it would wind that cable around the drum there. That cable is attached via pulleys to the counterweight over here. It raises that up. That's 157 pounds. It's calibrated to fall every 2 hours and 20 minutes. Then you have to come back and rewind it. All right. As that falls, it generates enough mechanical advantage to start turning up the gear ratio from the little gear all the way up through the bigger gears, right? Eventually it kicks in what's known as an inverter in the back, which is that big brass post with a gear on top. And what that does is translate this kind of mechanical motion to this kind of mechanical motion. Right? It then rotates this 6,000-pound carriage. It kind of like carousel speed, once every 2 minutes or so. It thereby rotates all 1,032 hand-blown, hand-ground crystal prisms up there. Those are set into 24 panels, and just like 24 frames per second makes Mickey Mouse move, same principle of animation going on. As these panels would line up in front of your eyes, it would appear to give a big sweeping flash once every 5 seconds. Now that's critical because that's the unique light signature for Point Reyes. All right? So if you're, say, back in the day and age of Pirates of the Caribbean or something, right? Those big tall ships, beautiful tall ships, right? And you're sailing out in these waters. You don't know them very well. And if you're lucky, you're going to hear that fog signal go off, right? That's a warning to you. You're coming up on something pretty dangerous, all right? So you'll pull out your handy-dandy chart and your map and you'll look at it. And you're not really going to know what it is because it could be this, could be that, could be this, could be that. They knew something about latitude back in that day and age. They didn't know a darn thing about longitude. That didn't come by for another 18 years until after this was built, okay? So our first shipwreck actually goes back to 1595 with the San Agustin. All right? The Spanish were trading in these waters for some 400 years. We can easily document well over 240 shipwrecks off this point alone. There's probably a heck of a lot more. We just don't know who the heck they were. They didn't leave any messages in a bottle. No, I was here. Kilroy. Right? So, if you're a good captain, what do you do if you're coming up on something dangerous? First thing you're going to do is slow your ship down, right? So you reef in your sails, send your crew to the rails, say, report back to me anything you see. Hopefully a sharp-eyed sailor will see something flash, right? And then what do? You're going to count the interval. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. You see it flash again, you say, oh yeah, that's that lighthouse that flashes once every 5 seconds. Point Reyes, right? Got it tattooed right here. They'd have it written on their chart, probably, hopefully. And you would know by myth and legend that Point Reyes, of course, sticks out in the ocean about 10